of advice do you have to homeowners?
Practicing that preparedness. Starting the conversation now is always going to be a benefit to any association out there.
And welcome to Recovery Report Live, Global Pro's deep dive into relevant business, real estate, and insurance topics, providing actionable takeaways and valuable insights. We aim to update, educate, and inform you weekly. I'm Dan Odess, president of Global Pro, where we manage risk to recovery. Well, it's nearing the end of 2020, and this is our last episode of the year, the 30th, that is, live episode of the Recovery Report Live, and I am excited about our guest that we have on today. But before we get there, I wanted to highlight some of the solutions that Global Pro has consistently provided to our community and clients. On last week's episode, you might remember that we talked about some of the issues that have been plaguing our community and clients, such as the pandemic and construction-related issues. So let's talk about some of those solutions. For our community, we launched the Love in a Bag campaign for our local small businesses, an incredible outreach program to help local small businesses, specifically the restaurant industry. We wanted to make sure that they had the ability to reach their audiences in a different way. So we got together with our marketing team. We put together these amazing bags, hence the Love in the Bag campaign. We paid for advertising. We pushed out information about all of the things that many of the restaurant owners were dealing with to help that industry in dealing with the pandemic. And then we kicked off Fresh Kicks and Cuts initiative to assist storm victims. Really important to us. It's an initiative that we have been planning and hoping to execute on. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, it obviously made it more difficult for us to actually hit their goals this year for that initiative. But we were able to collect, dozens and dozens of pairs of shoes, and we're looking forward to delivering those to the victims of this 2020 storm season. And as we all know, it was a heck of a storm season with many people getting damaged and destroyed, and property getting destroyed by many different storms, whether it was here in the United States or abroad. So we want to do our part by giving back. We collected gently used shoes. We're cleaning them up, bagging them, putting new shoelaces in them, and going to deliver them to those victims in the early part of 2021. So very excited, and thank you to everyone that chipped in to help us. We have dozens of boxes full of them, and they're ready to go out the door. So very excited about that. For our clients, we saw a tremendous rise in construction-related losses, particularly those handled by Global Pro, both on the first-party and third-party side. We were making claims directly against developers, builders, contractors, people that were causing damage to many of our community association business owners' properties, and in helping them deal with those losses and damages, we were able to help mitigate some of the costs typically associated with that, and work side by side with many different law firms and attorneys, including our guest that will be joining us here in a few minutes. So it was an advantageous program that we rolled out many, many years ago that many are starting to take total advantage of as we've seen this tremendous construction and real estate cycle. And we want to continue to deliver that incredible service as we head into 2021. There seems like there's no slowing down in sight, especially in our local market here in South Florida. We've helped more than 100 business owner clients navigate the difficult insurance claim process for the pandemic specifically. It's been a claims process that's been unlike anything else, riddled with all kinds of delay tactics and erroneous coverage decisions made by many different insurance companies. And every day we're seeing the courts rule on many different issues, and we continue to track that. Recently, we issued a memo, which is available on our website. Check out the resource section. It talks about various different cases and our opinions regarding how those cases will help or hurt business owners in various different jurisdictions. But probably really the biggest takeaway is that each of these cases is going to be judged mostly on its own merits. And there has been some consolidation, but we're continuing to track to see what those long-term implications are going to be for that. Largely, though, I can say in most jurisdictions there's a lack of consolidation, and each of the cases are being judged based on the merits. We have the first trial right now in Louisiana ongoing. Very exciting. Certainly tracking that closely, so we'll continue reporting on it. But our efforts was to provide to business owners some clarity as to how they should be making these claims to put them in the best possible situation for recovery. We've managed more than $100 million in loss and damage this year, more than $100 million. We're very excited with all of what we have done. We're looking for a very fruitful 2021. And we're very grateful to all of those that have trusted in us, their loss and damage, and given us the opportunity to shine to use our expertise, to get involved from start to finish. A lot of times people make the insinuation that you need to come to Global Pro when it didn't work out. A lot of people have learned you come to us before that even has an opportunity to occur. Calling us and getting us involved early can help you mitigate some of the typical issues that we see that plague some of these claims, like the improper reporting, timeliness of reporting, production of records, retention of certain experts to render certain opinions, just ascertaining the amount of your damage, trying to figure out what it's going to cost to rebuild, but making sure that what you're claiming for you actually have insurance for. So again, we're looking to continue our efforts, obviously, in 2021 and on and forward, and we encourage all of you to reach out to us if you have any sort of damage that may occur to your business or property. Our reach, something that really we've injected steroids, we've pumped this thing up. We launched this incredible broadcast, the Recovery Report Live. We're in our 30th episode. I can't be more excited about it. We went to a whole new format today, so I'm really excited that we are live on YouTube as well as Facebook. There'll be recordings, will be there to play it later, which we get a great viewer audience afterwards. But we're hoping that with this new format that we can attract more audience, and so more people can be more informed about how to handle claims and dealing with insurance and real estate and the implications on their businesses and community associations. It's really important that we get our message out there and we continue to deliver actual actionable news and information. And that's really what this is about. We don't want to just be some bullshit messaging service and self-promoting. We want you to be able to have information that you can actually use for your business community association going forward. And on that note, we've updated our Claims Advocate. New issue is coming soon. Look for it. We went to a magazine format. The digital form is going to be available. We'll be mailing it out to more than 1,000 of our clients and vendors and associates. So look for it, packed full of information. Some of it is a summary of things that you're hearing here today. Some of it is some new information. Awesome content. I can't wait to deliver that to all of you. And honestly, something near and dear to me, it was always been a dream of mine to build an office, to have a home for Global Pro, an actual headquarters. But it wasn't just to build out an office, it was to actually build something that can serve the interests of our clients, that gave them a safe meeting place to come to engage our staff, to learn about what we are doing for them and our community. And with the completion of the construction this year, we look forward to the events to come in 2021. Obviously, we want to be COVID, we're concerned with COVID and we want to be COVID friendly. We want to make sure that everyone is safe when they access the property. So we're going to wait a little bit longer before we do launch that. But with patience, I think we're going to actually be able to deliver an incredible experience for our clients that do come to visit us or our vendors. So look for that in 2021. It is really exciting. Well, with that being said, we're going to move on to the next segment, and I want to continue talking about solutions, and with our next guest, named partner at Gursky Reagan, a boutique community association law firm that provides counsel to community associations throughout the South Florida area, and I'm incredibly honored to be joined by the partner, Darren Gursky, who I've now just added to our screen here. Very excited about this new format, Darren. Just learning a little bit of how to use it. And so there may be some little tweaks to it and stuff like that we'll along the way. We'll get a little more comfortable here. At least I remember to unmute your microphone. So welcome to the show, Darren. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Dan. Looking forward to the questions.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's a good opportunity to have a conversation about community associations, insurance trends, expectations going in 2021. Really want to get into some of that information with you to give our audience the information they need and can use to deal with some of these issues. We've been head on with so many things this year, whether it was the pandemic, the construction cycles, etc. The interest in real estate down here is while a blessing, it also could be a curse for some of these associations. So let's talk about some of this. But particularly for your practice, how has this pandemic in 2020 impacted your practice?
Well, an interesting component of this pandemic is that everybody is quarantining or staying at home. everybody has been more communicative as to their legal issues, and they're available at all moments of the day. And so the practice has really been almost nonstop. People are home at all moments, sending emails at all moments, and a lot of concerns associated with the pandemic in terms of liability to properties, how to protect the unit owners, and at the same time too, because of the pandemic and certain property claims, policies and premiums have gone up, and whether or not that's been typical in the industry. So the pandemic has really brought up a slew of issues associated with insurance and how it's impacted budgets, as well as unit owners' concerns in living at the property.
So amongst the board members, you know, there's obviously this look forward to 2021, like there's this big reset button, you know, once we get to January 1, everyone's going to be pressing, looking for like the red button. I think Staples had that like red button thing. Everyone's looking for that one. What is the mood amongst board members as we head into 2021?
Well, you know, a lot of them want to get back to some level of normalcy, you know, like all of us. But they're thinking too, 2021 may be an opportunity to perform some projects that they wanted to perform in 2020, but were precluded. There's been a lot of planning because people, again, have been quarantining and sitting around and thinking about how to progress for the next year. So they've been really planning on how to work within their budget to create projects going forward and to repair, maintain the property, and create a safer environment for the community.
In that safer environment, and we're talking about a lot about the pandemic here. And one of the topics that goes along with being safe is this idea of a rise in delinquencies. I've had various different management companies on our broadcasts, and even other attorneys that have, I would say, we're optimistic in the summer. As we've headed towards the end of this year, I've seen a shift in that optimism. You know, this is a big topic. What are your expectations in 2020 as it relates to delinquencies, and how are associations going to manage it?
So, you know, delinquencies are unique to the property, I feel. Some of the higher end properties don't necessarily have those delinquency issues, and some of the other properties that have a larger unit base, they do have those issues. But what I'm seeing in much of my practice, if the unit has more than 10% of a delinquency rate, that's a little bit shocking.
Yeah.
Most properties are doing pretty well right now, surprisingly. But you know, real estate down here in Florida has really picked up. It's obviously a very desirable place to be. The way the governor has treated the pandemic here in Florida has allowed people to continue almost living life, and businesses have remained open while in other portions of the country they have not. And other places, other people in other parts of the country really want to come down to Florida. I anticipate in 2021 property values to continue to soar in condominiums throughout South Florida. What I'm seeing in a lot of the newer properties that maybe had a developer hadn't sold out is selling out at all these properties. Units have less inventory for sale, and even the leases are much harder to come by. So I anticipate 2021 to be more prosperous for the real estate, and I also anticipate people being happy to be here because of some of the issues that the boards are tackling to avoid liability of properties and protecting their unit owners from spreading this disease within the buildings.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. I mean, we still to this day, we field calls and questions about, you know, certain liability issues around the COVID and the pandemic, and you would have thought by now, you know, every possible question or iteration of it would have been answered, but there's still, I mean, I think there's every day these associations are just like, you know, blindsided by something else, or, you know, some unit owner that just doesn't want to comply with it any, you know, the restrictions anymore. We had one where contractors were refusing to do it, and you know, there's been some issues as we've seen. You know, and it's a strange year for businesses, and you know, you as an entrepreneur, your own practice. Where have you seen the biggest area of growth within your practice? Why are people calling you guys?
Well, it started out, I want to say, March and April. The biggest concern was, what are our rights as board members in terms of undertaking some action without unit owner vote to protect the community, eliminate liability for the association for exposure to COVID, and at the same time too, what types of potential alterations can we make at the property in order to eliminate access to the property from third parties who may expose us. And also, what can we do in order to better communicate with our unit owners as to what the board is doing to protect the association? And what we've really experienced is, because of obviously this new Zoom world, if you will, everybody is able to participate in meetings. And now meetings are lasting a lot longer. Unit owners have a lot more questions. And all those things have tied into a desire, now that things are seemingly reopening, to use properties a lot more. And the pool decks and the beaches and the gyms it's becoming very difficult to regulate the usage based upon CDC guidelines. And so now there's been an uptick in litigation. And I'm sure you've seen some of these policies that have been presented, where it's like a legal defense policy that have been issued, and how do boards fit within those policies, and are they protected? And then likewise, you know, boards want to give the unit owners the ability to use their property. They recognize and appreciate the unit owners are their neighbors and their constituents, and they want to make sure they have that right too. So while some unit owners want to take advantage potentially of the situation, the boards are having a difficult time in regulating, like mask usage, as you mentioned, or accessing certain areas of the property that may be precluded in order to protect the unit owners from having parties or gatherings that exceed the CDC guidelines.
And you deal a lot with construction related issues, and I mean, obviously being in the condo association practice area, you're dealing with a lot of that stuff. You know, something you made, and a comment you made regarding the use of the property, something we discussed early on, actually in a much earlier broadcast recovery report, was what is the use of those systems, the overuse of those systems at this point going to mean to these associations in the long run? Are you seeing an acceleration of certain projects on properties that related to any of these things? Obviously, we know they're being used more. The buildings are more full now for a longer period of time than we've ever seen before. I mean, I actually have heard that there's some properties that are literally to capacity, which they reported they have never seen before. Are you expecting an uptick in construction projects on site to help rebuild some of these issues?
Yes. So the construction has been a challenge depending upon city to city. Because when the pandemic initially hit, depending upon what town or village or city that you live in, some of them shut down construction projects that were ongoing. Some allowed them to proceed. And because, as you mentioned, because these properties are at full capacity, and they hadn't really been in full capacity, especially during the summer, which is a big travel time here in Florida, the properties were overused, and the maintenance cycles were unable to be implemented. So the associations are engaging contractors in order to undertake those repairs that they weren't able to maintain during some of this pandemic timeframe. Also, as we mentioned too, and I anticipate this as well, because as we see a lot of cranes around town, I do not anticipate the development to stop anytime either. As mentioned, and I touched upon it a little earlier, the inventories are flying off the rack, and the developers see this. This becomes a very desirable place to live, and that construction is creating, obviously, litigious issues as well. Some of the contractors aren't performing pursuant to the contract. There's time deadlines to complete projects. And then, as we've seen, because there's so many buildings, construction projects are impacting adjacent properties, and those adjacent properties are being damaged. I can't even tell you, I think right now, currently, at least 4 buildings where there's an adjacent construction that created some either construction runoff, whether it be the concrete spray off or just any construction debris that has damaged a sliding glass window to a pool deck to a vehicle down below.
Yep. No, I think
you're getting those types of claims too.
Oh yeah, I mean, we have a couple of clients in common that we're working together on, and obviously we've, I'd say 2 years ago we started seeing major impacts with nearby construction. The use of the properties, we're starting to see at the latter part of the year. I mean, the amount of boiler failures and cooling tower failures that we've had because the AC is not cooling, or they're having issues of mold in hallways. Because they're not cycling on and off properly. I think, from our perspective, we're anticipating a continued trend upward in claims for loss and damage related to either nearby construction or issues on site and on property. I think that's obviously compounds the existing issues with restrictions and regulations on access to properties and how they work and the costs associated with it and the rising rates, they're increasing insurance rates. 2021 is going to be a really interesting time. Trend towards the possible trend towards, towards delinquency issues. Many have not been reported on yet because a lot of banks and financial institutes have given some type of grievance period for people to renegotiate or come current on things. So I think there's, again, we're talking about all kinds of different cycles now. Right. A lot of people are really focused on the construction real estate cycle, but what you're hearing here today is that there's many other components to it, and I think it extends not only to professionals like yourself, law firms, but also to us, where we actually develop, own, and operate our own real estate to handling insurance claims.
You bring up a good point, though, because in these properties, with the delinquency rates potentially rising as a result of not being able to work, the unit owners and using their funds to live in this time frame, because insurance rates are going up, as we mentioned, that's a massive part. Generally, it's about 30 to 35, sometimes 40% of an association budget is an insurance premium. So when you have delinquencies with unit owners not paying, and you have these policies that have a higher premium, the budgets generally go up, and that's where these associations kind of get in trouble, where maybe they didn't finance the policy and they want to pay the premium at one time in order for that savings. And we're going to see that in 2021, associations managing the project, paying their bills, and how that all ties in. I foresee that being a significant issue.
Well, Darren, it's been awesome to have you on today. Last and final question, wrap it up, 30th episode. Glad we're ending on a high note, working closely together on several properties. Obviously, the entire Global Board team, thank you for your support. We've been able to accomplish and tackle a lot of great things together. And I'm looking forward to 2021 and beyond. Hopefully we can all get a little normalcy in 2021 and maybe have a cocktail together, or at least a lunch or something where we're in person. But until then, we'll continue doing this, delivering useful news. But how can our audience find out more about Gursky Reagan and get in contact with you directly?
You can look at our website, www.grcondolaw.com. That's just one word, grcondolaw.com. Reach out to us. We're a full service association community law firm, and we also do construction litigation as well. We appreciate the opportunity, Dan. As always, we're a big fan of Global Pro. You guys do great work for our respective clients, and I enjoy working with you. And this opportunity was a pleasure. And everybody, good luck for the upcoming year. Happy holidays and Happy New Year.
All right, my man. Well, on that note, Darren, have a great day. Wish you all the best. Happy holidays. Again, 30th episode. 2020 has had its challenges. Huge thanks to Darren, his entire team over there. They've been huge fans of ours from day one, and we've accomplished so much working with them and clients and delivering to clients consistent results. And we're going to continue doing those things. And I'm sure we'll have Darren back on in the future to continue talking about all things related to insurance, real estate, community associations, because these issues aren't going away, and they're going to constantly change. They're going to evolve, and around the corner in 2021, as you heard here today, we're not so sure what to expect. There's a lot of prediction, anticipation of changes that may occur, or things that may happen or that are different, but the reality of it is that you don't know. Global Pro has always advocated for being prepared. And being prepared is for any sort of possibility. And if you're not thinking that way, then you are unprepared. If you need consultation, that's what we're here for. We want to help our associations not only get the insurance they need, but also recover from losses. We want to do the same for business owners. But more than that, we want to make sure that you understand your obligations, whether it's in a contract with a contractor or your unit owners on certain liability issues. We teach all kinds of CE classes, the CAMs, and those community association managers that are licensed to manage a lot of these community associations that we work so closely with. So reach out to us anytime. Again, we always say go online at getglobalpro.com. Check out the resource section. We have so many things there that you can download, read, review. This broadcast and all of our other broadcasts are on our YouTube channel. We're going to continue pushing more and more content. We're going to get a whole new look in 2021, and I'm really excited about that. That's what today was about. Is about ending this year on a high note with this broadcast, with our delivery of information you can use. We want to make sure that you have it, that you can get to it, that it's accessible at all times for you. Whether that's making a phone call to us. We love to hear from our clients, so please reach out to us. Contact us anytime, 855-487-7475. Pretty easy phone number. If I said it fast, just getglobalpro.com. Check us out. We're all over social media, as you can see in the bottom banner. We're at our Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, you name it. Check us out, follow us, like us. Totally encourage everyone to constantly be informed. Want to remind everyone about all of our community initiatives and our efforts to help our community rebound from disaster. We're continuing to push on the Fresh Kicks and Cuts, but with the Love in the Back campaign, go out, support your local businesses. It's so important, especially around the holidays. It's a lot of times it's easy to go online to some of these bigger tech companies and just click the little buy now functions, and it shows up at your front door. But going out to your local businesses and supporting them in many different ways will indirectly help you and support you in the future. And it's so important that we all try to give back. It's so important that we all try to help small businesses in everything that we possibly can. So we're going to continue doing our part. We're going to continue to identify ways in which we can do that in 2021. And we're always looking for partners. So anyone listening in, tuning in that has an initiative that they're trying to roll out or trying to do or deliver to, whether it's community associations or businesses in our markets, we're all in. We want to know about it. If it works for us, we're obviously going to jump in. Maybe we know someone, maybe we can connect. And that's really the greatest thing about social media. It enables us to be able to connect with so many people so often and so easily. So if we can help and support you in any way, we're here to do that. So please let us know, reach out to our team. We're super excited. We come back to you in 2020 on January 7th. So calendar, if not, if anything else, you'll get a reminder. We're a whole new look, new and different content. We're going to get into all kinds of interesting aspects of the loss and damage insurance, real estate, many different things that maybe you expect or wouldn't expect from a company like Global Pro. We have all kinds of new tech that's going to be rolling out, so we're super excited about it. Again, I can't wait to host some of our clients and some of our vendors and many of you at our new headquarters. Many pictures of it online. It's super cool. We tweaked it and made it a very safe and interesting environment that we think is going to lend itself to a incredible engagement and an opportunity for us to continue doing what we're doing to help our community and help our clients now and in the future. So again, thank you, Darren, for joining us today, and all of our attendees that joined us and listened in. This broadcast and others will continue to be available to you on YouTube and Facebook, as well as all the other platforms that we're on. So like us, share it, and let us know how we can help you. And we wish everyone a happy and safe holiday season and New Year's. If there's anything we ever can do, please reach out and never hesitate.